Dollar Tree these little finger puppets with googly eyes, and I thought, wow, those look like Muppets. I think I can make something with that. So let's go over to the table. I'll show you what I ended up making. Do the step-by-step sped up mode. We're going to speed it up.
This craft started out with these googly eye little ring things from the Dollar Tree Valentine's area. And then these little pins, it's hard to find the small pins to go with the little mini journals, but they had them in the Valentine section in colors that matched those little googly eye rings. And then the mini journals, also Dollar Tree, you get 3 for $1. I'm using some scrapbook paper from my stash. Got some pink ones to go with the pink pen and googly eyes, and then I'll use the blue on the black and white paper. And then this is an automotive cleaning cloth in the Dollar Tree like car section. And I have this great new glue holder that will hold my glue upside down, so it's easy to use. I'll link to that in the description. It came from an Etsy seller that I recently met. So I'm going to rough up the front and back of these mini journals or these little composition books. I'm using a nail file here. You could use an emery board. Mine was worn out, so I'm using the file. Just go around the edges, and you want to just rough it up so that the glue is going to stick better. Get rid of that dust so that your glue doesn't get stuck on that. I'm going to glue the cover on. And I'm putting this non-stick sheet in between, and that's leftover from when you peel labels off and you have that waxy, heavy paper underneath. I like to reuse those for non-stick sheets when I'm gluing. Just press it down with the bone folder to make sure there's no bubbles in there. And then I'm going to do the same in the back. I just like to spread the glue around with a paintbrush, and you just have to be careful that you wash your brush out before the glue gets dry. That's the real trick with brushing on glue. Being very generous with the glue, and then just slide the paper right up against the spine. And then that car wash cloth, I'm going to cut a little square and then just freehand cut a little kind of a monster shape. And then get the excess fur off the edges so that it doesn't come off on the project later. Just make sure he's the right size there, and I'm going to cut him a little bit skinnier, just a design decision. And I'm going to use the Fabric Fusion glue on the back to attach it to the fur, and after that dried for about a day, it held on very nicely. But you do want to put him aside, let him dry. Now the covers are glued on and dried, so I'm going to trim them with scissors. I'm just filing the edges because I'm going to ink them with some distress ink, so I want a nice surface to grab onto that ink. You don't have to do this, this is optional. I noticed that the inside edges, one of them had some glue on it, so I got some washi tape and covered up that edge. Again, that's optional, but I kind of like the look of that black and white polka dot anyway. Trim that off, and then I'm going to get my Tim Holtz Distress ink. I like to use the pumice stone, which is a gray, and then go around the edges. Just get some on that sponge dauber and then go in circles, and it gives your project some dimension and depth. This is totally optional, it's just something that I like to do. It gives it a little kind of a grungy look to it. This is some elastic cord that I found on Amazon, and I really like this stuff. It's kind of like twine, but it's stretchy. So I'm going to tie it around and then tie one knot there, and then I'll put the pin in and tie a little bow around that, and that way it creates a little loop to make the pin holder. Just make a little tiny bow, snip the edges, and you can put a little dot of glue on that bow to hold it in place. I didn't in this, but I usually would do something like that. Now that elastic band will both hold the journal shut and it holds onto your pin. I'm going to trace around to see where I need to put the glue. I kind of made a mistake on this and got glue all over the place, but it happens. I like crafts that are forgiving because I make a lot of mistakes. That's how we learn.